Hi, my name's Sarah Oliver, and I'm currently on the World Race, which is an 11-month mission trip to 11 different countries. We have squad leaders each month that choose a word for our squad to choose into, and the word this month was draw near. And this month we are doing what's called ATL, which is Ask the Lord, so we're praying for ways just to see Him here in Pokhara, Nepal, and different areas of what ministry and worship look like. So coming into Nepal, I found out that my grandma had coded twice, and that was hard to hear, and I really didn't like just experiencing that, being here in Nepal and not being at home with my family. But when we came to Pokhara, April the 10th, I found out that my grandma had passed away. And it's just been so cool to see Jesus, because during this time it's actually pushed me to draw near. And just having a team here that supports me in a community that I wouldn't be able to get at home has been so sweet. We were able to hold a memorial service here for Nano, and I just got to share what was going to be read at her funeral and the memories that I got to share with her over the past 24 years, just being able to let my team into that and what those 24 years with her looked like. And so this month, God has just been so faithful, and I had a key for the journey at the beginning of the race that was B, and so each month I've prayed for what is supposed to come with B, and so this month it's just be fearful, and that's in a sense of just the awe that God provides. And so I really learned just being able to see Him through these revelations that He's given me. Nano has walked with me for the past 7 months of the race, and these last 5, she actually gets to live them out with me. She's gotten to read my blogs and gotten to hear my stories, but the time that she's living out with me, I get to go visit her and Big Bob at their gravesite and just talk with them and share my stories. My family just buried her on Sunday, and so it was really cool to hear just what they did to include Big Bob. And Big Bob always loved drinking glass bottles of Coke, so they actually left a glass bottle on his grave. And this month has just been so sweet because I just didn't know how to feel going home and not having Nano there, and it was hard to accept that. But God was just so faithful once again, and in 2017, Nano just gave me this huge Christmas because I wasn't going to be there in 2018, and ending up she did get me presents, and my mom offered for us to FaceTime and me to open them and me watch. So I told my mom I would rather wait and be able to just have that to look forward to coming home to. And that's the time that Nano and I are going to get to share together, so I do have that little piece of coming home to her. So my parents told me that they had everybody write me letters to read throughout the months, and Nano has specifically always put her letters in this specific packaging, and I always knew that that was her letter. And this month I had no decorated envelopes to look for. And it was just this plain white envelope that said Sarah, Nepal. And I knew I was supposed to open it this month, and it looked like her handwriting, but I really wasn't sure. And so I put it on my bed to come back and open later that day, and couldn't find it when I got back. So I spent the night panicking, didn't really sleep very well. The next morning I was just stressed because I couldn't find it. And I just sought after this letter, and it was so hard not being able to find it that I was asking people, and I told people hey, I know this is a stupid prayer request, but pray that I find this letter. So after lots of times of going through all my stuff, I finally found it, and I opened it, and as soon as I opened it, the card said, "You make me happy." And inside the card, she talked about creation and how God did it in 6 days. And she loved the hymn Amazing Grace, and there was a whole paper in there from a church that's in Jefferson, Georgia about Amazing Grace, and it was written by somebody else, but just every single word matched the emotions that I was feeling in just this season that we're walking into. And she gave me a card that has Bible verses on it, and one of them was talking about how grace flows from God's abundantness and that it's always perfect in His timing. And as soon as I read these things and just got to experience opening this letter, God hit me with a real gut punch of, I spent all this time looking for this letter, and I'm so just like wanting to find that letter and seeking for it that I asked Him to reveal it, and I reached out to other people. But why am I not that way with Him? And so just being able to walk in the season has really challenged me, just being able to see the goodness that He provides, but also just learning to seek out these memories with Nano and to seek out just ways that I find her, but to continue to seek the Father more in these times. And just what that looks like of the strength and the power that I put into looking for this card, of transitioning it and looking into Him just for strength during this season, not only for me, but for my family as we walk into just having to say goodbye and having to just move into what it looks like to work with a state and what it looks like to go into selling her house and just letting go of the things that were once hers, and just being able to have those small memories of her with us is just really cool. Another thing is that I can let the enemy seep in and let him drive this wedge of me not being at home, but God has just been so cool to show me ways that things have worked here. I've had a team that didn't know Nano, and they've still chosen to draw near, and we've gotten to share stories, and they've been really intentional about asking questions and just meeting me where I'm at emotionally, and just being able to hear from family the ways that God's working there, and to be able to see God and Nano not only here in Nepal but also back at home. My parents were going through the phone book trying to figure out who to call, and they came across this passage that Nano had put in there, and in the phone book it said, "Until we meet again, you're in God's hands," which was just confirmation for my family to remove the ventilator and just give her the best life of living every ounce of her body out to go and be with the Heavenly Father and the Creator. And so that was just a really cool thing. And my family was always being asked what it was like for me to be here and if I was coming home and how I was emotionally. And Dr. Zeus is one of my favorite people, and I just love the work that he did. And so as my parents flipped through the entire phone book multiple times, they got to the last page and Nano had scribbled, "Don't cry because it's over, but smile because it happened." And I just look, and there's no way that the enemy can come in and just like put this wedge of me not being there and make me feel bad, because there's so many memories that I get to smile about. I am Nano's oldest granddaughter, and I got to spend 24 lovely years with her, and it was just really cool to be able to have these memories of going over there for spend the night parties and her picking me up from preschool, the times that we got to go to the park together and put coins on the train track, and after the train went through, just be able to go pick those up and look at just the mass like force of how that went from like something it was before and being molded into something new. And just who she was as a woman. She was strong, she was independent, she was just all these things and wasn't afraid to be herself and just show who she truly was. And those are things that I've gotten to, that she's just kind of instilled in me over the years of being able to see what that looks like and how God has just built her into this servant of his and just the masterpiece that she is. And so getting to witness that and have that poured over me for 24 years was such a neat experience. So this month, being fearful and a sense of awe has looked like just getting to see God's revelations through this, being able to share it with my team and have this community that I wouldn't get back at home, and just to see what it looks like to draw near, to have a community of 5 people that you met in August, that you spent 11 days with, and then jumped internationally with them in October for 11 months. And people look at that and they think, how do you do it? That's so awkward, I can never do that. But God was so intentional about the way that he built this team and he built this community. None of us knew that this month we would experience Nano's death, but it's just been so cool to see us choose into each other and just the gifts that he's given us and the way that we've been able to work together as a team, and the ways of just like helping me and coming together. We've had a teammate who's been really sick this month, and just drawing near has like so many different things this month. And just time and time again, we're blessed with the Lord's sovereignty and what that looks like. So I just kind of wanted to let you guys into what this month has looked like, letting you into experiencing Nano's memorial with us, and just being able to know that emotionally I'm doing good, that I've had so many just neat experiences with a father that have pushed me closer to him and pushed me closer to drawing near with my team. This month has been so beautiful in a way of being fearful of him, just the people that we've met, the beauty that surrounds us every day, and just the way that Nano's memorial and this experience has brought people close. When we were in the park having her memorial service, we had lots of people stop and ask questions and just reach out to us, and we're really touched by the things that we were doing. So it's just really cool to see God here and to see God back at home, and the moments that I do need that little reminder, there is always a reminder of her. And it's just been so cool to watch and be able to experience this month. So thank you guys for following along on this journey and just the crazy, beautiful things that God's doing. Bye.